AEW All Out is this Saturday, and of course we're going to do some predictions. I've done a little bit of calculations on the WWE side, and currently, the last two especially, I'm 80%, so I'm one wrong out of five. Overall for the year, I am 70%. I think I had a bad one at Money in the Bank. So we're doing quite well actually. So we'll see how this goes with AEW. This is my first AEW predictions I think I've done on camera. So we'll see how this goes. There's 8 matches been released so far. I think there's going to be another 1 or 2 announced on Collision or Dynamite, but we've not got time to do that, to be honest. So we're going to go with the 8 that's already been announced, and I'm going to go in the order that I can see them, rather than try and guess what the main event's going to be. So, first off, Will Ospreay versus Pac for the International Championship. I think Will Ospreay's just got it back. I think Pac is a good opponent to kind of showcase each other, in a sense. I think, though, this will be Will Ospreay. I think he's just got all the momentum at the moment. He is very popular with the crowd. I just think they're going to keep him slightly away from the world title while it's on Danielson. Maybe when Danielson loses the title, maybe then we bring Ospreay back in. But at the moment, I think the International Championship's enough for him at this time. So I'm going Will Ospreay. Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander in a Chicago street fight. This, I believe, is for the CMLL women's title or something along them lines. I think that this is going to be Willow because it's been very much heavy on Statlander's side in terms of the actual feud. And I think it's time for Willow to get something in terms of a bit of retribution. I think a street fight is spot on for them too. I think it's going to be a good match. There's a lot of very personal rivalries in this pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to it, to be fair. But I think Willow Nightingale will win that match. Next up, MJF versus Daniel Garcia. This is a straight-up singles match. Now, I'm surprised that this is a singles match, bearing in mind how it has gone. Although there are a lot more personal matches in this pay-per-view, to be fair. We will get to that later. For me, I think this will be a showcase of Daniel Garcia, but I think it will be MJF that wins by hook or by crook of some way, shape or form. MJF is just hitting back into that next gear of being the heel again, and I think he's just kind of clicking back into gear. Daniel Garcia is a fantastic wrestler. I think he's very good, and I think this will showcase him as basically how good he is, because MJF can make anyone look good, but Daniel Garcia is going to hold his own, I think, in this match. But I do think MJF will win. Next, Mercedes Moné versus Hikaru Shida for the TBS Championship with Camille banned from ringside. I still think Mercedes Moné is going to hold this belt for a little bit longer. I think Shida's a good opponent to have, as she is a former AEW Women's Champion in her own right. I think that Moné, I don't know if what we're waiting on for the main title. I know obviously they've just given it to Mariah May. So maybe next person that takes it off Mariah May and we then move into the Moné feud. I just think that Moné as a heel is working nicely. Having Camille as a kind of heavy is also a good spot for her. I think she needs maybe one more in there. I think she's kind of seeing it as Moné Enterprises. I feel like she needs to start building a faction around her a little bit, but that's storyline basis. In terms of this match, I think Moné is going to beat Shida. Kazuchika Okada is defending the Continental Championship in a 4-way match. Now, we don't know the competitors at this time. Well, I don't, at the time of recording. But there are 3 matches due for Collision on Friday, so it should be later today. Orange Cassidy versus Brian Keith, Konosuke Takeshita versus the Beast Mortos, and Lance Archer versus Mark Briscoe. Now, I think it'll be Cassidy, Takeshita, and Briscoe. Who I think wins is interesting, though, because I think they're going to want to take the belt off Okada, because we're close to that point where Okada needs to be starting to gain into the world title picture, because they've brought in Okada for a reason, and I think that he's not going to be holding what is classed as a mid-card title for his whole career. So I think that they're wanting to move him up closer to the top. Whether that's still being Continental Champion, I'm not sure. But I think they'll give it to... This is the most difficult one, I think, because I don't know who's in it. You know what? No, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go Okada, because I think there's not enough time. I think there's a bit more time yet on Okada's reign. I don't know who's going to take it off him. I personally think this is probably the way to do it. Have someone else win the match, but then he has a rematch in that, surely. But I'm going to go Okada and play safe, to be honest. The Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, taking on the Blackpool Combat Club of Cardio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I think this is the Young Bucks. I don't see them doubling down on the tag belts with the Combat Club. I know Pac's with them for the trios. I just don't see them going 2 belts on the Combat Club. I think that the Young Bucks will win it by hook or by crook. Bryan Danielson defending the AEW World Championship against Jack Perry. Now, I've done a video on who I think retires Bryan Danielson in main in-ring competition. That is on the channel. Go watch that. It's a good video. I've had to say so myself. I don't think Jack Perry wins this. I think it's Bryan Danielson all day. I think he's a filler at the moment for whoever comes next. I think, obviously, the Bucks have said that they're going to do whatever they can to get Perry on the world title, but he's also TNT title champion. So with 2 belt, we're not gonna. I just don't see anyone 2 belt in there for a bit, and I think that Danielson will win some way, shape, or form. I think the Bucks aren't done with trying to get people to take the belt off Danielson, and I think the man that will is not far behind. But if you want to know, check out the video. The link will be down in the description. And finally, the most personal rivalry of the whole year for me. This has been incredible. Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page, Steel Cage, unsanctioned lights out match. This got very personal, because if this is actually, obviously it's wrestling, so it's scripted and everything like that, I get it. If you've not watched Dynamite, Swerve Strickland comes out for a contract signing. Hangman Page isn't there. He's in Swerve's house, which he bought last week. His boyhood house, or his childhood house, and he burns it to the ground. Well, you see it burning. Whether it was actually the house or what, I don't know. But in storyline kayfabe mode, that's the move that Hangman Page went with. That makes this incredibly personal, and for me, I was thinking this is Swerve all day. Swerve has to win this. It's very difficult now with that, because Hangman has tipped the scale back with that personal animosity he has for Swerve Strickland, but the overlying factor is this one factor, and it is that Swerve Strickland is yet to beat Hangman Page one-on-one. Then if I've got that right. If I've got it wrong, then feel free to tell me in the comments. But from what I remember, Hangman did say something about he'd not beat him without help, and that's why that's the Steel Cage. So for me to solidify the fact that it has to go down that way, and just to the fact that I think that I feel like Hangman would be fine with that, with the loss. I'm going Swerve Strickland, because it makes more sense for you to do the finally beating Hangman one-on-one. You had him as the champion. He'd lost the title because of Hangman. It's called the revenge factor. The fact that Hangman burned down his house, all this. I think it makes more sense for Strickland to win the match and move on, and for this Hangman descent into madness to continue. I think it makes more sense for that to occur, because what happens if Hangman wins? He's justified in everything he's done, but it makes more sense for him to fall more into the madness and into the darkness for me. And I think Swerve Strickland wins, And that's what happens next. Swerve goes on to possibly rematch with Danielson, see what happens, world title picture, something along those lines. Maybe MJF, who knows. And then Hangman descends into madness a bit more. I'm liking the mad Hangman. And what happens next? Maybe Jeff Jarrett. I like the feud they had a little bit. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, there's my picks for AEW All Out. Well, what do you think? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like this video if you have liked it. Subscribe if you are new. Let's get these subscribers up, guys. I'm at 250 now. I want to get it to 500,000. Let's go. I want to let's go and let's get some traction. Until next time, take care.